welcome to you out there, and thanks for joining us once again on this program, Nimasa This Week. It is time for us to get informed and educated about the latest developments in the maritime sector in Nigeria and globally. I am your host for the moment, Osaje Edward. Before we set sail, let's take a quick break.
My name is Chief Dr. George Moralo.
Senator Binta Masi Garba.
Is Rollins McFoy, the President of Women in Maritime Nigeria.
You are watching Nimasa This Week.
You are watching Nimasa This Week.
Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime.
The voice of maritime.
The voice of the maritime industry.
The voice of the maritime.
Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
The management of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, has appointed offshore waste reception facility managers to facilitate the protection of marine environment pursuant to the agency's statutory mandate to implement and enforce provisions of the Nimasa Act 2007 and the Merchant Shipping Act 2007. Nimasa engaged the services of African Circle Pollution Management Limited and XPO Marine Limited as service providers for the provision of offshore waste reception facilities, as no other company is permitted to receive offshore waste in Nigeria. All ships entering Nigerian waters must download and complete a declaration pre-landing form within a minimum of 7 days prior to their arrival, stating the type and amount of waste and residues to be delivered and or remaining on board. All FPSOs, FSOs and terminals are hereby advised on the applicable tariff relating to their equipment, size and tonnage, as shown in the tariff schedule in the Federal Republic of Nigeria Official Gazette number 52, as failure to comply is a violation of Nigerian law and attracts penalties in the form of fines, prosecution of the offenders, or both as may be appropriate. A Royal Navy warship, HMS Trent, has arrived Lagos, Nigeria as part of its regional mission to aid allies and partners in driving down illegal activities, including piracy and illicit trafficking. The visit, its second to the country, will deliver capacity training and support maritime security in the region. In 2021, the warship was in Lagos to conduct maritime security patrols as well as support partner navies in West Africa.
All right, so welcome back. The program is still Nimasa This Week. And today we shall be giving you a bumper package as always. Dock workers, those are the ones who have the hands-on men in the port. Most people don't really talk about them, but today we shall be giving you a special report on the dock workers. Who are they? What do they do? You shall be getting to know about that in this program. And of course, this week we also have for you a special report on blue economy. We now have a ministry for blue economy and maritime in Nigeria. So today we have a special report for you talking about the potentials of the blue economy in Nigeria. And that's not just all that. We also have for you our regulars, tidbits from Nigeria and globally. Stay with us.
Our world-class Maritime Experience Center is now live, announcing Maritime Stakeholders Experience Contact Center, MSECC, where you'll get simple, fast, and tailored solutions to all your maritime challenges on maritime safety, maritime labor, marine pollution, search and rescue, cabotage issues, ship registration, training and certification, and any other maritime-related issues. Contact us via the polling channels 23401-630-9590. Email us at contactcenter@nimasa.gov.ng, info@nimasa.gov.ng. Chat with us www.nimasa.gov.ng and on Facebook at Nimasa Official. Let's resolve all your maritime related issues.
The concept of blue economy seeks to promote economic growth, social inclusion, and the preservation or improvement of livelihoods, while at the same time ensuring environmental sustainability of the oceans and coastal area. Sectors of the blue economy include fisheries, aquaculture, coastal and maritime transport, marine biotechnology, and bioprospecting. The extractive industries in blue economy include activities within national jurisdiction and activities in areas beyond national jurisdiction. Freshwater generation, renewable marine offshore energy, maritime transport, ports and related services, shipping and shipbuilding, and waste disposal management.
We have 5 pillars that we have to look and understand what composes of this blue economy. 5 pillars. 1, sustainability. You have to sustain whatever. If it's fishery, you have to sustain it. You have to look on the way and manner that you have to develop the fishery industry. The number of fishing trailers we had in the mid-90s and the one we have today, you will now agree with me that we don't have even fishing industry now today. It's no longer viable. So this is the essence of blue economy. As a wake-up call, the fisheries, we have a group that will look at what they can do to sustain and bring back that particular business into being, not only for the national consumption, but also for the international export, for building the industry to ensure that we have a sustainable industry that internationally they can reckon with Nigeria.
Blue economy has a huge importance to national development, especially for Nigeria. It goes beyond shipping as well as oil and gas to encompass all the activities that involve harnessing ocean resources, including fishery, renewable energy, offshore power, support network, and repairs.
Blue economy is defined as the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth. It is also defined as that resource that will improve livelihoods and jobs whilst preserving the health of the ocean ecosystem. So it's not just enough for us to tap from the ocean resources, we should also ensure that we sustain it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have anything to tap from. So the sustainability of the blue economy is also very key.
From a ship owner's perspective, I think that the opportunity is to be able to truly become a shipping nation when we can acquire ships and have enough ships to be able to get into the trade fully. And as a matter of fact, the moment we start getting ships, then of course all the benefits of the blue economy will unfold.
Sustainable exploitation of the blue economy resources will not only help Nigeria to generate revenue, but also to create employment for Nigeria's growing population. The Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, has made it clear that Nigeria is ready to harness its potential in blue economy.
So this is the time for us to ensure that we take control of our waterway and ensure that we're able to harness the potentials that are available there.
A sustainable exploitation of resources in the blue economy can lead to job creation, improved food security, tourism and infrastructure development, and green energy, among others. Both traditional and emerging industries and sectors of the blue economy can lead to job creation, improved food security, tourism and infrastructure development, green energy, smart cities and ports, among others, when properly harnessed through enabling policy frameworks.
The International Maritime Organization, IMO, is the United Nations specialized agency with responsibility for the safety and security of shipping and the prevention of marine and atmospheric pollution by ships. IMO's work supports the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. IMO, the International Maritime Organization, has welcomed the signing of the UN Convention on the International Effects of Judicial Sales of Ships, which took place at a ceremony in Beijing, the People's Republic of China, on the 5th of September. It is designed to address the problem of bona fide new owners and those financing the purchase of vessels who, for instance, find themselves dealing with previous creditors laying claim to the ship as security for a loan.
Introducing the Nimasa Distress Response Call Lines for all maritime stakeholders, ship owners, seafarers, ship captains. Whatever your challenge or distress in the Nigerian maritime domain, please call 0803 0685 167, 0708 0005 956, 0700 0700 010. If you can't reach us on these lines, please call 0700 0700 020, 0700 0700 030. Also via VHF Radio Channel 16. Call and Nimasa will respond.
A dock worker, in simple terms, is a laborer who loads and unloads vessels in a port. The role of a dock worker and responsibilities include, but not limited to, assisting with loading and unloading trucks, moving items to staging area using a forklift or pallet jack, ensuring items are packaged safely before shipping. They are also responsible for imputing shipping information into computer systems, log any shortages or damages, and maintain a clean and safe workplace, amongst others. They can be considered hands-on human component in port operations. At a workshop in honor of dock workers, the need for more recognition for dock workers was highlighted.
It is actually the true, very important story that must be told, that dock workers in our port ecosystem are indeed the unsung heroes. That is true. I mean, come to think of it, really, how can any port system be effective and function but for you? Really, if you think about it deeply. And so, if there is anything really that must be done that will ensure at least a minimum level of comfort for those who are responsible for making our port systems to work, then I think it is fair to say that you are more than deserving of whatever it is that has been done in the workplace.
The era of hooliganism, terrorism in the port, under our watch, has been stopped. And even if I'm retiring tomorrow, that legacy, whoever is coming, must build on it. Ports have changed. From 2016 now, things have changed. The transformations have transformed us to a standard. We should not go back to our olden day way of doing things, where we ask an employer to remove his shoes as a result of their characters. That one we have buried. We can disagree in principle. You give ultimatum to them. If they don't listen to you, then you know what to do.
It is also worthy of note that dock workers load and unload cargo and prepare docks for incoming ships. They mow and unmow ships upon their arrival and departure and maintain accurate records of damaged or misplaced cargo. They follow loading and unloading plans and participate in all company training programs. Despite technology getting more involved in port operations, dock workers are still key to port operations.
The dock workers are the heroes of port reform. Without dock workers, there is no port. Without dock workers, there is no ship. We recognize your contribution, immense contribution to the economy of the nation.
Media stakeholders in Nigeria recognized the role Nimasa has played in improving the welfare of dock workers by an award for brokering the Collective Bargaining Agreement (CBA) between terminal operators and Maritime Dock Workers Union of Nigeria. The DG CEO Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamo, OFR, was given a special award of excellence.
Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola settles in.
The government tries to engage all stakeholders and encourage them to abide by the provisions of the enabling international instruments as provided by the International Maritime Organization regarding protection and safety of the maritime environment. And some of these include things like the Convention for Civil Liability for Oil Pollution Damage of 1992 and the International Convention on Establishment of an International Fund for Compensation of Oil Damage, 1992. And Nigeria is a signatory to this. And we definitely have tried to enact several platforms to implement these conventions within the Nigerian maritime sector. We have also domesticated these conventions, and the compliance level of the maritime conventions and the protocols as with Nigeria as a member state is commendable, because efforts are ongoing to improve the protection of the maritime environment. And as a supervising ministry, we prioritize this through the Department of Maritime Safety and Security, which is a department that oversees the activities of Nimasa and, of course, the environment, marine safety, security, pollution. And marine environment comes under that. And it's so important that in the work plan for the year, they have to do like a quarterly supervision of what is going on along that place. And I remember when I came on board, we had a lot to do that was still outstanding in the oil pollution funds issues with IMO. The SOP had been produced but had not been submitted to IMO, which we had to do. And after that was fixing the price, the oil price index for pollution, so that if there is any pollution in any part of Nigerian maritime environment, there is a price that IMO would have adopted to pay compensation to staff. And today I want to say that we already have that deposited with IMO, and we did that in 2022, which is a way forward for us as a nation. Nigeria has complied with the International Convention for Prevention of Pollution from Ships, because as a party to MAPO Convention, we're expected to implement the provisions of the instruments and amendments thereto. To that extent, I'll say that Nigeria has been provided adequate port reception facilities. You are aware that we have them at the 4 navigational districts in Lagos, in Rivers, Calabar, and Warri. And this is to receive and process onboard ship-generated waste, of the 6 MAPO annexes, in line with the Marine Environmental Protection Committee's guidance. And it is done without causing undue delay to ships that are using the port reception facilities as advocated by the International Maritime Organization. The availability of adequate port reception facility is a critical aspect of the compliance to the convention, which is why, as a supervisory ministry, like I said earlier, we pay deep attention to it and make sure that we don't just sit in the office, but we ensure that Federal Ministry of Transportation, in collaboration with Nimasa and NTA, actually go out to ensure that this is being done in line with the MAPO Convention and guidelines. So I think we are improving. We are not there yet, but we're improving. Well, an average Nigerian seafarer, first to be a seafarer, they have been trained to become a seafarer. And the training is not just based on Nigerian standard, but based on international best practice. And so having received that basic training, they also have a responsibility to make sure that while they're on board, they maintain the health of the ocean. And also have to reduce pollution and preserve the marine resources. And they can do this through so many avenues. First, by reporting to the appropriate authority. If there is any environmental incidents, they have to make that report known. And also, if there are oil spills and pollution, as quickly as possible, those reports should be made in accordance with the established protocols. They also need to be careful to navigate in a way that avoids damaging marine habitats and the wildlife. The other thing they could do is to make sure that they actively take measures to prevent or minimize pollution from ships, such as using the proper waste management system and avoid littering and discharge of garbage.
Nigeria's sustenance has over the years been hinged on a monolithic economy, with the discovery of crude oil in Oloibiri Bios Estate in 1956. It has been largely dependent on the oil sector and faced with the need for diversification. The country has focused on a hybrid of economic structure that blends oil with agriculture, but the former has remained consistent as economic mainstay ahead of the latter over the years, leaving the nation vulnerable to the many shocks associated with fluctuating global oil prices, diminishing purchase by large economies such as America, the growing threat of the emergence of more renewable alternative energy resources, the menace of oil theft, and much more. Experts believe that if Africa's largest economy, which has struggled with diversification, is to make a comeback as an economic powerhouse reminiscent of the glorious agricultural era, Nigeria has the clear option of turning to her water from the Atlantic Ocean to the various inland waters, making more than 65% of her geography with all the resources and inherent in those waters and the various economic activities that generate from transportation to fishing, aquaculture, the shipping trade, and allied services. With Nigeria's recent gains in reducing the menace of piracy and sea criminalities, the nation's seas have become safer and her coast calmer. The conditions are now conducive for Nigeria's blue economy to thrive. It is increasingly being accepted that the country's future lies in the blue economy, with a coastline bordering the Atlantic Ocean from Badagry in Lagos to Bakassi in Cross River State.
So I want to see Nigeria blue.
That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the program this week. But remember, this is September, and in the month of September, the International Maritime Organization, IMO, has set a day aside for the world to commemorate the World Maritime Day. Nigeria will be joining, and of course, we will be keeping you informed about the developments concerning the celebration of the World Maritime Day globally. If you did enjoy the program today, please join us same time, same station next week. Bye for now.